Good afternoon, I'm Sarah Fragani, and now at noon, a battle of words inside the courtroom for day 6 of testimony in the trial involving 3 former San Antonio police officers. This happened before the jury was even brought in. The defendants are accused of shooting and killing Melissa Perez in 2023. KENS 5's Megan Reyna is live right now outside the courtroom. She's been following this trial all week long. And Megan, what did you learn today?
Sarah, pretty big development. In just the last 30 minutes, the defense called for a mistrial. Now, the judge did dismiss everyone for a break until 1:15, so no decision has been made. But this has to do with the testimony we heard from witness Jonathan Salinas yesterday. We actually showed you this exchange on our newscast when he talked about being upset with the state's argument that they have for this case. The concern from the defense is that if state prosecutors are alluding to the fact that officers who are testifying and not charged with the crime broke the law, then they're being labeled as criminals. Now, the argument that the state is making is that officers were performing a burglary of habitation when they tried to arrest Melissa Perez before shooting and killing her. The defense is claiming state prosecutors did not disclose that Officer Salinas disagreed with their theory surrounding the case before this trial began, but the state said they did not know the officer disapproved and provided the state with the information they were given when they interviewed that officer ahead of the trial. The judge was then allowing both the state and defense to question Officer Salinas. Again, this is before a jury even walked in. Things did get tense when the state was asking Officer Salinas if he backtracked on what he said to them, again, in interviews before the trial, specifically about the fact that he never called for an arrest, or called her arrest rather, a hot pursuit in his police statements. A hot pursuit is when officers can enter a suspect's apartment without a warrant.
At the time, I was under the mistaken belief I was allowed to make entry into the apartment in order to place Ms. Perez into custody as discussed with Sergeant Flores.
What was the basis? What the basis of your mistake is that now on October 10th, you knew you needed a warrant. Isn't that true, sir?
It's not true that you needed a warrant. So,
ask like an answer to my question.
It's an argumentative question because it presumes and assumes falsely that they would need a warrant in this situation.
So at this point, after that, what you just saw there, the judge wanted Salinas to then be able to be briefed with an attorney. He wants to make sure that he's not being incriminated by testifying. A state defender then came in. They discussed for 30, 40 minutes. And then that's when the state defender came in and recommended to the judge they plead the fifth for Officer Salinas. There was a lot of exchange back and forth between both the state, the defense, and the judge. The defense ultimately were calling for a mistrial because they believe that this could set a precedent for all of the officers that are going to testify if the state continues to make their same argument. The defense believes that they are criminalizing these officers and they'll continue to run into the same issue. It's very complex here, but again, the judge is taking a break, allowing the state to consider whether to offer immunity to Officer Jonathan Salinas. We'll be back in the courtroom at 1:15. We'll have another update for you this evening, but definitely some tense moments and big developments. We're also streaming this trial on KENS 5+. Reporting live from the Justice Center, Megan Reyna, KENS 5.